Merman Pa. Merman Pa. Hi. Mermaids. Merman Pa. You get? Yes. Getting?
I know of mermen.
No. Have you ever seen the movie Zoolander?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Merman. Oh, that wind is so.
We are out here, Facebook living from City View Road or something, at this model house demo for the Green Alliance. I'm like, this thing, like, I'm like walking on this dock. I think it's gonna be like moving. So, yeah, it's a pretty cool event here. Just kind of taking a, like, I'm like, look at the screen, but then it's like, look at the actual real view. That's sick, dude. Alright, so I could do this house. Like, I could take this. We're
You know, I'm pretty much like making people bleed their pockets for raffle tickets, which is really amazing. And then we're going to have mermaids that are going to dive down for the tickets to see who are the winners for these items.
What do you have?
I hear you're going to be doing some pretty cool things too, though.
What's that last one? Let's see if I can zoom in on that. Yeah. Okay, now I gotta put this down. No, it's like an unzoom. I'm gonna be doing some cool things, I guess. What am I gonna be doing?
Yeah, wait, live demo, chef, cooking, all that stuff. You know, the stuff with knives and like spatulas and pans. I don't know, stuff like that.
I know nothing about that. What is it you're talking about?
Cooking. Vegan dish, right? So excited.
Clean burning fuel. Yep, this is going to be nutrient dense, protein rich, low glycemic chickpea ragu, chickpea cream sauce, vegan tomato cream sauce. I like the plane flying back there. Look at that plane.
Look at the sunset.
Let's go back around for another walk.
You have to go check out the
So that's what's going on right now. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves, having a beautiful day, a beautiful life experience, and just making it awesome. That's what we're here to do. We're gonna kind of just be live streaming. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
We got the interviews going on here. Anything you want to tell the people?
Just having good times, making dreams happen, one event at a time. It's going good.
Nice. Very good. So we're supposed to be doing some sort of a demo.
demo at 6:30. Demo at 6:30, guys.
What's going to be going on?
ChefKas, what are we cooking today?
We are cooking. I can't take it. That's such a funny way to ask that question. Go ahead.
There's a bar. There's a few things you can choose from. It's going to be beer, wine, tonight. So we have Heineken and Corona for the beers.
Heineken and a cup of water.
Why is it like the most water beer of all time?
What are you making?
Okay, so very simply, we're like, I want to lead in with a better question.
Okay.
I've been doing it a few years.
You're gonna have to get another one to soup.
Yeah, I can grab a couple of things in there.
Do introduction.
Line them up
I
one at a
don't want to
time.
spoil it because what if they watch? I shared
In
it
Portugal, I
on
learned to
Facebook
open a
Live, so we're just going to
champagne
keep
This
it
is just practice. You get the behind the scenes.
That would be fun. I've never had the chance, but I can open a bottle pretty fast, so let's see if I got a chance to swing it.
Do you want to be known as ChefKas?
Yes.
Is this ChefKas?
Yes. But what?
I'm not going to say my because you don't like that. Our nutritional gourmet chef. No. Clean burning fuel.
So I would say, I want to introduce you. Adam Kaswiner, aka ChefKas, who specializes in gourmet nutrition. The approach to food he calls clean burning. He has an extensive background in exercise science, nutrition, and culinary. Just exercise science.
We're live and this is ChefKas.
That's so crazy. I've never seen it.
It's for famous.
What are you discussing? Oh, for God's sake. Get back to work.
That was Chef Eric.
That was awesome. That was like straight out of a TV show.
You millennials, I don't know what to do with you.
Oh, it's millennials.
Alright, so I'd like to introduce my friend, Adam Kaswiner, aka ChefKas. ChefKas focuses on gourmet nutrition and takes an approach to food he likes to call clean burning fuel. His background is in biology, where he got his bachelor's in biology. He studied biology at the university. He has a bachelor's in biology at the university. He studied
What? Exercise science? What?
just a degree in biology, as well as his culinary.
On the taste. Exercise.
Here, look.
And also an upcoming chef. No, he can't say anything. Wants to watch you.
Thank you. Cool.
Oh, yeah, I'm always
That was good. That was good. Thank you. Alright, so
This is Jerry.
Jerry.
Adam,
This is
ChefKas,
Adam.
pleasure to meet you. Nice to meet you. Absolutely.
How do you guys How'd you end up here today?
Well, through Heather,
Okay.
and then we're also in another referral group.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Is it yummy? Heather, can you say "Mm, so good" right here? So good.
I'm not even worried about you. Hey, hold on. Let's get this on Facebook Live.
My mouth is not that bad. That was really hard. But delicious.
Alright. So,
Steven, does anything have pork in it? Anyone? Yay, she's buzzed up.
this is like the best thing ever. Because what happens a lot of time, especially if I do stuff outside and I live stream and my phone overheats. It's happened a number of times and it just cuts out. Actually, this is a good thing for the people at home to see. Why does that keep happening? So when I do live TV,
I have let her know she's finishing up a conversation right now, and then she's going to make an announcement.
so like 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Okay, so
Alright.
this is.
Can we get
We
this
need to
open?
open this. Can we open this?
Do some work, old man. Sure.
He's not old. He's just older than us. We're actually
I need more of the isogenics. Not what I do. What I call it? Isogenics.
How shall I introduce Chef?
You can just introduce us that we're doing a demo, and then I'll introduce it.
I'll pass it on to you.
So you can just say delightful chefs and chefers, and just introduce the team.
Okay.
You just say, yeah, maybe we should do that. You introduce me and I introduce. So Christine.
Need somebody with a loud voice to at least get people to come back up here.
I want to put this so that like people can see that there's an audience and everything too. Look at all that. These people. I want to see. So, do I like actual tomatoes? Okay.
We're about 6:35, so okay. Alrighty.
Is this plugged in? Okay, I'm not plating some of this or am I plating?
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Do we have a ChefKas?
Where is Laura?
I'm not going to demo it.
My indoor voice or my outdoor voice is probably being challenged right now. But let's try to get everybody in nice and cozy. We have a special presentation for you. Come on in. They ready? Quiet even. All right. So first of all, Annette Bubach, president of the Green Alliance, and our team, we have Heather, we have Rebecca, say hello Rebecca, Stephanie, and where's Jennifer? And Jennifer. I want to say a great big thank you to the girls for arranging for this evening. What do you think? Is this a nice place to come hang out for an evening? We did okay? Not bad, right? So I want to thank Southwest Custom Homes for hosting us tonight in this beautiful home, and what an amazing view. But tonight we have a special treat for you. We're going to bring some healthy conversation into tonight's evening, and we've got our wonderful chefs here, and ChefKas is going to show us how to eat healthy with style and pizzazz. And he's going to make an amazing dish for us tonight. No pressure, no pressure, no pressure.
It's just setting me up.
So I would like to say thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks for having us.
All of you have little bits and pieces of the appetizers, which, as we all agree, are yummy, yummy. And so if you would like to just kind of talk about your team and what you guys do, and then let's get busy.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for having us. Thank you, Annette. I'm Christina Almeida, executive chef and founder of Delightful Chefs. It's a personal chef and catering company. And on my Delightful team, I have ChefKas over here, who is our nutritional gourmet chef. So he's amazing. He's one of my best friends, and so one of the things I really adore about ChefKas is the way that he cooks. So he focuses on clean burning fuel. So he is very knowledgeable. Not only did he go to the greatest culinary school in the country, CIA, but he also has a biology degree from Emory. And his whole life since he was 13, he's been really passionate about cooking for athletes and cooking with a purpose. So it's not just the so good experience that Delightful Chefs has. He has another layer of so good, which is, oh my gosh, I feel good. And so today ChefKas is demoing one of my favorite dishes of his, which is the vegan chickpea ragu. Right, ChefKas?
That is correct. Thank you so much. That was amazing. So let's just all give Chef Christina, and she's a badass chef in her own right. I like her food, especially on cheat days. It's really good then, especially. So yeah, let me just I'm just gonna put these onions in here, let me saute a little bit, and we'll probably get some vintage going, but not right this second. All right. So yeah, thank you everybody for being here today. As Chef Christina alluded to, I do a lot with, people say healthy cooking, and it just doesn't, it's like such a like misnomer that it doesn't mean anything. Like, healthy for what? Healthy for who? And what are you trying to achieve? So I prefer to look at things from just simply a biological point of view, where we're not looking at the mentality we have about food. Like, healthy is automatically associated for good. But if, like, you're going to have a day watching football, sometimes maybe you want to have something a little bit heavier. You can relax a little bit. You can put some more energy just into digesting. Versus if you're about to walk into a meeting and you want to be focused and you want to be on, you want to eat a certain way to feel that way. If you understand that connection, that physiologically there's a response, it's not just food coma or energy, it's way more complicated than that. But at the same time, you can kind of study just some patterns and just learn some very, very, very simple things. So one of the things that isn't talked about a whole lot in food, but a lot of people are starting to learn about, is the glycemic index. So anybody familiar with glycemic index? Yeah. Cool. So good amount of the room. Basically, it's the rate at which food's carbohydrate is broken down into your bloodstream as glucose, which your body can then use. So if you eat something like chips, which breaks down very, very, very quickly, completely refined, there's no fiber in it. Understanding what fiber is, actually that there's 3 parts of a grain, okay? And fiber just is the part that is usually stripped away in the refining process. That's what our body actually needs to break down slowly over time. That's why eating things like sweet potatoes, like we're going to have today, and chickpeas, like we're going to have today, and tomatoes, that all have all the layers, fibrous content that the body has to work. So now it takes more time for it to get into the bloodstream as glucose. So we're not having all that energy dumped into our body right away, like pouring lighter fluid on a bonfire versus putting logs to burn gradually. So something's making a little bit of sense? Yeah. Okay, cool. So has anyone ever had any challenges in their relationship with food? Just raise your hand. It's okay. You can be real. Okay. So anybody ever eat in a way that made them feel like crap? It's okay. You can raise your hand. Right? So a lot of this is just training the brain to think slightly differently. Just think slightly differently about food. And a lot of that, of course, is going to come down to the food actually tasting good. Right? So when I started my business, I started working with myself about 6 years ago. I was a private chef for somebody actually not too far from this area. And he just brought me in to cook clean for his family. And that's basically still what I do. I've worked with athletes like George St. Pierre, Bryce Harper. I did LeBron James' basketball camp for Nike. Like that level of the peak performing athlete is my love. Because then somebody's making hundreds of thousands of dollars based on your work, if you did a good job. So, for me, that's like kind of significant when, it's just cooking, right? But does anyone in here eat? Yeah. Okay, so is food kind of an important part of your life? Yes. Right. So, but at the same time, we can't oversimplify it where it's like just nutrition or just family time or just doing something social. It's being a little bit more calculated about it, a little bit more strategic about it. So that's what I focus on a lot with my approach to food, is just being strategic. Understanding that if you eat a certain way, you're probably going to feel a certain way. Not being surprised when that happens. Not putting yourself in a position where you need to have a lot of energy and you didn't really eat foods that, and it's not, who's ever eaten a lot and been tired afterwards? Okay? So food doesn't necessarily give us energy. So just redefining some of these very, very basic paradigms that most people have been just inundated with, where it's just automatic and it takes somebody speaking something differently to even question it. So, all that said, thank you guys for listening. You're all awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. Does anyone have any takeaways from what I just shared so far? Did any of that resonate with you? Just like, can I get some feedback from you guys? Yeah. What I heard some yelling. So, can you give one takeaway that you just from what I just shared?
I don't do the cooking. My husband does.
Okay.
Depending on the situation, different ingredients depending on the body, whether we need energy or comfort.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. Don't eat chips. You know what? There's a funny thing about eating chips. So, I actually have like a whole kind of way of thinking about some foods that I call like the bag of potato chips effect. So again, I'm asking for some participation here. Has anyone ever had the experience where you eat the bag of chips all the way down, you're reaching down, you get the last little scrape, you actually lick the scrape, peel the bag and rip it. That's a new one. I haven't got. So anyone ever have that experience? Yeah? So that's your body looking for something. Your body is looking for some nutrient. You're trying to get something. Now the chips and everything from basically a biochemical reaction involving insulin, right? Everybody has some familiarity with insulin because of diabetes, of course. But it's your body, insulin basically tells your body to keep producing insulin. As long as you're putting simple carbohydrate in your body keeps producing insulin. It's telling yourself to absorb, absorb, absorb. So as long as you're getting it, you're going to keep wanting it. So your body, if you get something else that satiates it, you won't have that experience because you're not going to be searching for nutrients. Even if it's more like, it's not so like, okay, I need to have a replacement for chips. We make it so complicated. For sure. Less cravings. And just some of these patterns, it's like when they're happening, dissociating from the emotional component, which is another big part, because it becomes that Pavlovian dog thing where like the bell rings and the dog comes and gives it a treat and it learns just to come and then there's no more treats. But it's not treats, it's the emotion. Because we get addicted to emotions. We get like feeling bad sometimes will cause you to do something that causes you to feel bad. Mm-hmm. So if you're tired, you tend to go for some food that is aligned with you feeling more tired. You know, when you're tired, you don't make food choices aligned with having more energy. It's very backwards unless you make a deliberate stop. One of the first things with people that I coach, that I work with, that I ask them to do is meditation. And if you don't think meditation helps with your food choices, you've never meditated. So you get a lot more clear and your decision making is improved. And if you ever eat clean for an extended period of time, you find that your decision making improves. And then you have to ask yourself, if I eat that way and my decision making improves, how does that start to look for the rest of my life?
Clean burning fuel. That's
Clean burning fuel. Okay, so thank you. Let me actually do some action here. So if you just have some cherry tomatoes, you could use canned tomatoes, that's just fine. You know, pick a decent one. I'm just going to puree this. I've got this tomato paste. This is super simple, guys. So anyone ever have like a tomato bolognese, like a meat sauce? Mm-hmm. Right? So this is basically a great substitute for a meat sauce. And if you want to have meat sauce, like, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with having a meat sauce. But this is just something where if you're like, oh, I like that, it's very filling, but not heavy. Right? It's not heavy. Honestly, it costs less to have chickpeas than to have meat. Maybe somebody has a budget. You can also produce it in bulk, which is something that I'm very strong on for people who are looking to change their eating habits and do cooking. Because if you do cooking where you make something in bulk and you freeze it and you do that regularly, then you have a stock of a variety of things. So if you're wondering here, I'm just putting in some dried basil, some red chili flakes, some black pepper.
What is the best way to freeze food? Say somebody is on a nutritional plan and they have an extremely busy schedule. How do you suggest to preserve food and to keep themselves on track?
Wow, that's a great question.
Single servings, pop it in the freezer, pop right out into the microwave.
Or take out can you repeat that a little bit louder?
You freeze it in single servings, you put it right in the freezer so you can pop it out, put it in the microwave, and even when you cannot think, there's no decision, just pull it out, it's already there.
Awesome.
So bulk cooking, right? Invest in a larger size stock pot. Go to like Resco, $25, large stock pot, cook up a bunch of ground turkey, put some beans in it, some chili powder. Like if you're a person who doesn't need it to be real complicated and you just want to have things that are pre-prepared, good. Gets really complicated sometimes.
I lose it all the time too.
So tomatoes so far, tomato paste, dry basil, red chili flakes, black pepper. I'm going to add in coconut cream. So this is where things start to kind of diverge a little bit. We're going for some different nutrient profiles. You hear a lot of different things about coconut oil right now. For like 6 months, it seemed like it was like the best thing ever. Previous to a few years ago when it started to get really popular, my familiarity with coconut oil was when I was in the Peace Corps in Bangladesh, and people put coconut oil in their hair. So that's what I knew about coconut oil before it became popular about 5 years ago. And basically, the simplest way to understand why people think coconut oil is good, and I prefer to use it for a lot of things, is basically MCTs, medium-chain triglycerides. They've been shown in a number of different studies to be the most efficient burning fuel. Efficiency just means they create the most energy with the least amount of waste, right? That's what all we're talking about when it comes to efficiency. Also, if you don't know, simple, very, very simple nutrition culinary numbers, it's good to learn a few. The first one you should definitely know is 944. Anybody know what that is? It doesn't have to be in that order. Okay, there's 9 calories per gram of fat. So 9 units of energy. Calories just a unit of energy. Heat. Okay, 4 calories per gram of protein. 4 calories per gram of carbohydrate. So there's more energy in a gram, same weight of fat, than there is in a gram of protein or carbohydrate. So that doesn't mean don't eat fat. That's the old paradigm from like 1985, right? So now we're understanding that if you eat the right fats, non-processed fats, things like avocados, nuts, these are actually very high-grade fuels. So Chef Christina, the way I refer to my approach to cooking and eating, you said the name?
Clean burning fuel.
Clean burning fuel, right? Just like we're looking for more and more in our world. It just makes sense. Right? So if you do the same thing in your body, it has an effect. Tell us more about your company, please, and all the different sorts of... Chef Christina has an amazing, amazing catering company. This year we've done huge weddings. We catered for the American Ninja Warrior that was filming on the Strip. We catered for Juicy J. Mariah, she's also the personal chef to Mariah Carey. And also has been on a TV show. And she should have won. And a few other things. I'll let her tell you. I'm going to cook some items.
So while he's cooking, so if you guys, one of our favorite things to do, why I started a personal chef and catering company, is I'm really passionate about doing exactly what the client wants. And a lot of times when you go to a restaurant, without you even knowing it, there's so much processed things in the restaurant. And being busy all the time, you just lose the quality of one, family time. That's huge to me. And also having nutritious, well-balanced food. And so that is something both ChefKas and I are passionate about. So that's why I have a personal chef company. And then along with that comes catering. Once you're a personal chef, people always ask you to do parties. And ChefKas over here, how we ended up working together is somebody had asked me to do a healthy food party. And I'm like, okay. But they asked for super healthy food, like paleo. And I was like, ChefKas, can you help me with this? And ChefKas, with all the knowledge that he has, is so gracious to help me. So that's how this partnership has come about. And then we also do, one of my specialty things are the high-end events. So events, we do a lot of events in custom homes just like this, where we actually bring the 5-star experience to you. So if you ever want to have a wine dinner, or you just want to have a couple girlfriends over and have professional chefs cater to you and cook a 5-course meal, we're happy to do that. Everybody on my team has all been on TV, has cooked for stars, and really just our level of knowledge on the fine dining scale is way above, I would say, the average personal chef here in Vegas. So, and then I also just recently acquired 2 Vegas Chicks, which is an event planning company, and this is Now we go around setting up demos just like this. So we do plenty of demos inside the home. We work with different fundraisers. Right now we're working on a fundraiser for Congresswoman, well, she's about to win Congress, Victoria Seaman. And if you guys are interested in going to a fundraiser over at Legends Ranch, over in, the southwest part of town, we're doing a fundraiser on Wednesday, October 26th. And there again, we'll have all our finest chefs cooking the best food. Chef Eric is in the house somewhere around here.
Yeah.
Chef Eric.
Whoa.
Chef Eric and I met each other at the Win, and he is a crucial part of our company. And together, we create magnificent events. And then over here also we have Addison, who just joined our team. Addison is not only our bartender, he's doing a fine job, right? You guys are enjoying the drinks? Yeah. Not only is he our bartender, but he also helps out with catering sales. He's also very knowledgeable in the front of house. So if you really want to wine and dine friends and really do, we like to work together in doing like whiskey pairings, beer pairings, wine pairings. That is what we do, and Addison is super knowledgeable. If you want to learn more about liqueur, go ahead and speak with him. All right, ChefKas, what do you got?
That was awesome. Thank you, Chef Christina, for sharing. And well, I'm actually going to, do you want to pass this out?
Absolutely.
So we're going to pass out some recipe cards for you. It has the basics of this recipe. I'm of the opinion, play around with it. Make it yours. You know, some people are like, oh, chef, like everything came from someplace. I learned most of my cooking from my grandma. You know, like being in a kitchen like this. So everybody saw basically what I put in here more or less. We got the tomatoes, we got the tomato paste, dried basil, black pepper, some Himalayan. I like to use that pink Himalayan sea salt. It also breaks down differently. I'm not going to go into all that, but you'll feel different effects on your body, a lot less bloating with that kind of food. When you start using that pink Himalayan salt regularly and you go out to eat, it's like total difference. Like you taste it, you feel it. And then I put the coconut milk in here, and that's going to give it obviously that creaminess, but we're not digesting like heavy cream that is like, for most people, are going to have some averse response to, whether you're not aware of it or you are. I had a friend who, throughout high school and in college, terrible acne. And one day, I don't know what caused him, but he just stopped drinking milk. And it was directly responsible for his bad skin.
All those antibiotics.
So there's everybody's kind of got different things, but if you just play around with it instead of looking at it as like, yes, no, right, wrong, you will differ. And there's also different cycles and different stages of things. Sometimes you'll be vegan for a while. Just accept that, roll with that. Sometimes you need a de-inflammation stage. If anybody watches Fox 5 News, I was just on Fox 5 on last Monday or Tuesday. They had me on for this, and I was talking about how a vegetarian and vegan diet will reduce dramatically inflammation in your body. So if you have pain, lower back, knees, where a lot of people just start to get pain, you don't have to do it like the rest of your life. You can do it for a week and get benefit, believe it or not. Okay, so I'm going to blend this up. A little too much in the thing. It's like science experiment here.
As long as you don't make clever, we're
just
fine.
A little. I want all this. I don't want to waste it.
What spices did you put in there, ChefKas?
Some red chili flakes, some dried basil. Did you see me put anything that I didn't say?
No, I was just asking.
No, I was just curious.
We also have fresh basil. Did you put that in?
Oh no, you have fresh basil.
Yes, I do.
Does anyone have anything regarding something I already spoke to? Because sometimes there's like the big topic, and then there's a lot of micro details. So if I can ask somebody just to be bold and step out, who's had like a challenge with food before that you want to refer to specifically? That maybe, yes, man, thank you. I appreciate your boldness. Everybody give her a round of applause. What's your name?
But not me personally.
Okay.
My daughter was just here this weekend, and evidently she's allergic to tomatoes.
Okay.
So, we love Italian food.
Just tomatoes? Just tomatoes? Let me think on this. Wild blending. Wild blending. I need like Jeopardy music. I need some Jeopardy music. I'm going to answer you. I'm going to think. Yeah, I need some Jeopardy music. You have any ideas? 5 minutes. That was it. You want to set up the plates? You didn't clear all this stuff. You just set up the plates. Right, you're gonna. It's like the splash seats, like on the ride Disney World.
You know, it's not really a cooking adventure. It's something different.
This is good. I didn't stab myself on primetime national television like last time.
Awesome.
Started like gushing blood everywhere. I tell you what happened. Their knives are so sharp. They're so sharp. I want it real smooth. You said. So, yeah. Oh, we're gonna do it now? What are these things? Let me taste it. Can you hold this? Can you? Like, kind of just keep it going. Alright, this is the TV Magic one I forgot. So it didn't have to be completely homogeneously blended. So tomatoes. No tomatoes. Can she eat? So you can make like an eggplant-based sauce. You know, like a baba ganoush, but cook it, and then like still use all like oregano, fresh basil. You know, get those kind of herbs. There's a very specific. Maybe there's some balsamic in there too. A little balsamic has kind of that same acid profile as a tomato. You know what I'm saying? And especially if you cook it down a little bit, so it's got a little bit of texture. Yeah, same vein. Thank you. I appreciate the like stumper right off the bat. Anybody else have any questions, especially related to nutrition? Anybody? Related to nutrition? All right, we're gonna wrap it up and feed you guys. So, last step here. I've got my sauce on the stove. You can see it's real nice. It's got that like vodka sauce kind of color, right? It doesn't look just like some tomatoes. And then just a thing of chickpeas. And I'm just gonna put that right in there. And we talked earlier about the bulk cooking. Oh, I got my basin. We talked earlier about the bulk cooking. You can make a nice batch of this and feed it to a family for a few days. You can do different things with it. You can have it hot, cold. I always look for things I can eat at different temperatures, turn into different things, put into lettuce wraps. Yes, ma'am.
So is are the chickpeas the protein?
Chickpeas are the protein. And you get a little bit of protein from coconut milk.
Right.
Not much, but something. But what I look for is
there's no sugar. There's no sugar in the coconut milk and no.
Well, of course, tomatoes.
Right,
but we don't have anything added sweetening. No, this is just plain coconut milk.
And do you really need the protein?
Depending what you're doing. And also protein is important for satiation, for the feeling of fullness. That's why a lot of times people who are vegan vegetarian will continue to eat a lot of starches and those types of foods. And vegan vegetarian doesn't mean healthy because there's so many habits that people.
Yeah, you can be totally unhealthy vegan if you don't eat rice.
Cool. All right. Well, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I can't speak to it as an expert. I can't say that I specifically studied it and done any extensive research or have any report that I can reference.
Do you use it in your cooking?
But I don't do much of it. Sometimes I have people ask for tofu. I like cooking tofu to an extent. I don't like it as a food, but it's kind of fun to cook. You know what I mean? Like you can do different things with it. But if you like it and it doesn't make you feel lousy, like one of the most basic things is like if you eat something and feel lousy, like stay away from that thing. That's a good rule of
More
thumb.
about like what works for you.
What works for you, and also what outcomes you want to achieve. What do you eat? What's the purpose that you're eating for? And that can be macro, as in I want to lose 10 pounds over the next 3 months. And I also do a lot that I'll speak to this at the end after everybody's had a taste. I need some water.
But I've always been getting like different, vegetarian foods. My entire life, so I eat like this. But I've never. This is interesting. I've never done it.
All right, everyone. So thank you so much for checking this out. And
I cook with
we have Chef Eric passing some samples around of this lovely vegan roasted chickpea ragu. Don't forget we have recipe cards here, and we also have business cards. And then Annette has an announcement, right?
Yes, I do. So what do you guys think? Was that cool? Was that awesome? ChefKas, thank you.
Thank you. And if you're interested, I do a lot of one-on-one work. Basically, just to have a conversation with you is my pleasure. I love talking to people, and everybody's got a different story. Everybody's got different goals, and it's so freaking rewarding when I actually help people achieve goals and results they've been working so hard and trying so long to achieve that they haven't been able to. So if you're interested in getting some results, hitting some goals, feeling a certain way you haven't been able to for some time, please come talk to me. Thank you, guys.
Do you have like a social media?
Yeah, everything. We've got the website on this card, and my email is just chefkas at chefkas.com. Okay, and the website's on here as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Can't wait to taste it. All right, so I got to tell you, I mean, what a beautiful place to be able to do this demonstration is then in this gorgeous kitchen, right? Right. So that leads me to, first of all, thank our host, West Preston Homes. We have Dan here who's going to join us tonight. Before we do a little tour to learn a little bit more about the house, I just want to have a couple of announcements. Will you guys bear with me a little bit? So everybody knows who the Green Alliance is, yes? Yes? All right, so for those that don't know, Green Alliance is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that we co-founded back in 2001. And our sole mission has been, over the years, to create awareness about how to become more sustainable, starting from at home. So how perfect it is that we're here in a wonderful, amazing home that we integrated energy efficiency, renewables, and even these beautiful water features and have a cool the home. Our first quest was to increase the number of Energy Star homes in Southern Nevada, working with EPA's Energy Star program, and we did a great job in the first 5 years by working with home builders in town, and we have now over 110,000 Energy Star homes, which is leading the nation. Since then, we realized, goodness, we know what we're doing on creating awareness and impacting the community and transforming the market in the way of building better, living better, etc. And so then we sat around the table and started creating more programs and created Green Alliance as a 501c3. So just to give you an idea of some of the programs that we have, there's a flyer that's up front, but that gives you some of our key initiatives, but that's not only what we do. We hold events like this every month so that we can do some type of educational experience, right? It's one thing to talk in front of a class, it's another thing to experience. By being in this home, you're going to experience the beauty and the sustainable features. By having ChefKas and his team here, it's all about experiencing, and that's what these monthly events are for. We also have educational seminars for all professionals, meaning builders, realtors, lenders, appraisers, and even the consumers, on educating them on how to look for a more energy efficient home, businesses on how to look for a more energy efficient building, and how to green their buildings and green their ways, best practices as a business. And so many different ways of integrating this subject into everyday life so that we can do better at what we do. So we hold lots of seminars through that process through our education team. We also have a radio show. In fact, that's how I had the pleasure of meeting Cindy, who is with us today. We have Shades of Green. Where is my host? Paul, do your thing, baby. So Mondays, when?
9 o'clock Monday morning.
That's right. Shades of Green? By Green Alliance. And Paul is our host. So we get to have the pleasure of bringing people from